Welcome to Pattern and Craft. I'm Courtney, and today's video is a tutorial for how you will attach ribbon crimp ends to your bracelet if you'd like to finish it like this. Ribbon crimp ends come in a variety of colors and sizes and finishes and textures. You can see all of these different ones I have here. This is just a small selection. I got these on Amazon as well as at various craft stores. You can see they come in a wider size all the way down to very narrow. So usually you can find something that will fit your particular bracelet. Today I'm choosing this silver one that has sort of a basket weave pattern on it. I thought it matched the style of my bracelet quite well. So that's going on this bracelet here. It's got sort of a zigzag pattern, and it seemed like it would do better as a ribbon crimp end finish rather than something like a triangle end, since the pattern doesn't really lend itself to a triangle end. So you can see I've finished one end sort of to a flat edge, and I've also arranged the knots in a way that they kind of point inwards. I didn't want any little bits of thread hanging out the edge, that's why I did that. I'll show you how to do it as well. And then I've also taken my ribbon crimp ends and attached a clasp. I'm using a lobster clasp here attached with jump rings. And the reason you would want to assemble this first before you're even finished with your bracelet is so that you know how long to make your bracelet. So I'm going to attach one end to my finished end of the bracelet before I finish the other side, because I don't know exactly how long it needs to be yet. I'm using these plastic covered pliers so that it doesn't leave marks on my ribbon crimp ends. You can use regular ones, just be a little bit more careful. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off the ends of the string here. And I don't actually glue mine, but you could use something like fray check or glue or something if you're worried. But I don't like to use glue on bracelets just because it makes them rough and I don't like dealing with it. Anyway, so you can use glue, but I don't, because they get really nice and secure in here. There's little teeth on the ribbon crimp end, so you don't have to worry about it coming off or these kind of showing once you've got your end on there. So you'll want to just center your crimp end, and you'll take your pliers and just smush it down. And the only hard part is just getting it kind of in there and get it to stay long enough for you to flatten the crimp so that it grabs the bracelet. Just make sure it's exactly where you want it, and then press down. And you can see I didn't press down hard enough here, so it kind of came out again. So I'm rearranging it, and then I'm pushing down. You kind of want to push or hold it all the way around on both ends, because otherwise it can tip and then you'll have an uneven end. So just kind of make sure it's aligned and then push down. You can kind of start softly, but then once it's in the right place, push down harder with the pliers and make sure that the little teeth grab the bracelet and your ribbon crimp becomes nice and flat. You can see it's in there, it's nice and secure, it's not going anywhere, there's no little pieces of thread hanging out the edges. That's exactly how you do it, and it looks great and it works. And it's very secure. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the other side of my bracelet now, because I can kind of tell by having this on there how long the rest of it needs to be. So I'll keep knotting and then I'll keep checking until it's the right distance and the right tightness for me. Okay, so I've finished the bracelet. I've gotten it to the length that I want, and I'm going to show you how I knotted the edges sort of inwards. So you can just end it at a straight line like this, and then just leave like one more row that you need to do if you want to do this technique. So I'm just securing it down, and now you can see I'm going to take my string, and instead of just going over one string, I'm going to knot over two strings coming in. I'm doing the left side first, and I'm doing 4 knots over the 2 strings to the right of the string that I'm using. And that just kind of brings them over one, so they're not right at the edge, you know? And then I'll take the next string that's supposed to make a knot if you're doing like a flat edge. And I'm going to go over not only the knot that it would normally go over to the right, but also over the string that I just used. So it kind of secures everything kind of one row in or one position over. Just so your string's not right at the corner and you won't see it when you add your crimp end. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. So I'm just going to the left now. So I'm doing backward knots. Actually, I think I did a forward backward knot. I should have just done a backward knot. It doesn't really matter, but I'm ending with the strings kind of one place over and my string kind of headed towards the center of the bracelet. And then I'm taking the next string over and going over the string to the left and going over the string that was to its right as well with a backward knot. So I know that might be a little confusing, but you can use whatever technique you want to kind of get the threads finished off. And then I'm just going to do one more or a few more knots here that are just the normal way. Just one knot over, the string that you would normally use. Just backward knots or forward knots, whichever. You won't really see this part, so it doesn't really matter. I just want it to be a flat edge and have your strings not like right at the very corner. All right, so that's how I did it. You can do that, or you can, do whatever you think is best. And then have to trim off these ends. You can see I left quite a lot of extra string, so yeah, so they kind of like face in and they won't show. So just take your scissors, don't be afraid, and cut off all the excess. Okay, so I've got my end, and I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. Just attach my crimp end. You can see it's the right length because I already had the finishing pieces in there, so I measured it just to be exactly the right length. I like my bracelets a little bit tight, so you can see that one was kind of tight, but if you like it looser, make sure you allow a little more room. This side was easier for some reason to crimp down than the first one, maybe because I had practice from having just done the first one, but you just stick that right in there and cinch it down with your pliers. I do like these plastic lined pliers because they're good for jewelry making. They make sure I don't leave marks on things, but if you are using regular metal pliers, just be really careful that you don't nick the metal. Okay, so I'm all done. I think I did notice here that my lobster clasp was kind of the wrong way up. You kind of want the little toggle that opens and closes the clasp on the top, and mine was on the bottom, so I took it off. But I thought that was a good opportunity to show you how to attach the jump ring anyway. So it looks really nice. I know, here I am showing you the bracelet, but then I realized it was the wrong way up. So now I've detached and reattached the jump ring, the lobster clasp, and here's the jump ring. You want to open them, close them, kind of by twisting them like that, rather than pulling them open. You want to twist them to the side and then twist them back closed. So that's all there is to it. Now I can actually use my little toggle on my clasp there now that it's the right way up. So here's my finished bracelet. Turned out really nicely. I think that, the silver kind of matches the gray thread. It looks real nice. Looks real clean and finished. I really like using this technique when I don't want ties. So it's a good option. And then also another option, if you don't have, the most dexterous of fingers, or if you're, don't have someone to help you put bracelets and jewelry on, there are magnetic clasps. So I might switch it out for this. They're a little heavier though. They're not quite, they're a little bit bulkier, but they actually are really nice because you don't need help to put on the bracelet. You just kind of, put it on and it closes itself because those are little magnets on either side of the clasp. And so that's another option you could use as well. And those I get online or again at craft stores. They generally have them. So here's the finished product. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you try using ribbon crimp ends, and if you wanted to try them, that this helps you learn how to do that. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video and share the video if you could. And I'd love to see your work, so go ahead and show me what you're up to on Instagram and tag me. Okay, happy crafting!